Do not believe when someone tells you that if you wean off your child, they will sleep through the night. Mm-mm-mm. Not my child. Hi everyone, this is Gunjan. I'm a mom to a 2-year-old, a content creator, a recipe curator, and a certified positive parenting coach. Welcome to my YouTube channel where we talk about motherhood, my experiences through motherhood, my journey, my learnings, my unlearnings, the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of that stuff. This is a safe, judgment-free space, so do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I also have an Instagram Tickle Tales where I share a lot of baby-friendly recipes and you get an insight into my day-to-day motherhood journey. So do check that out as well. This is part 2 of our weaning journey where I'll be talking to you about how I night weaned my 23-month-old toddler. The part 1, which is about day weaning, is already up on my channel, so you can check that out as well. So just to give you a little background, we had already weaned off the day feeds. He was feeding in the morning once when he was waking up around 6:30, and then he would feed directly when he would wake up at night after his bedtime. So after his bedtime, he usually was waking up 3 to 4 times through the night, and he would just take a little bit of feed and fall back to sleep. So after 6:30 feed in the morning, he was directly waking up at around 11:30, and that's when I was feeding him next. So this is going to be about how I dropped the night feeds. After this, I had two options. What my lactation consultant Prachi had recommended me to do was that I drop the night feed between 11 and 6. So I continue to feed him at 11 and then at 6 a.m. in the morning. And then whenever he's waking up in between, I drop those first. Acha, first, before I get into that, one more thing I want to tell you. Usually people do this that the mother who is feeding the child is not the one who is weaning the child off. At night, usually it's recommended that your partner or a grandparent or someone else steps in, an alternate caregiver, and weans off the feeds. But we decided not to do that. I talked more about this in the first part of the video, but just to give a little context, when I am taking away myself from the picture, I am taking away two things from Kian. I'm taking away the feed and I'm taking away his mother. I didn't want to do that. I only wanted to take away the one thing that needed to be taken away, that is breastfeeding. So I decided, both me and my husband actually decided that I will be the one who will be weaning him off. So when this process of night weaning started, my husband would sleep in a separate room so that I would be the one who will be up at night with Kian. My husband will be sleeping separately. And in the morning, he will take Kian and he'll spend time with Kian so that I can get some sleep in the morning to make up for the night sleep. So yeah, this was one more thing that we considered before starting, that both me and my husband needed to be available through the day. So I made sure that my husband's work can be scheduled in a way that he's available in the morning hours to be with Kian. And even through the day, because I'd be up a lot through the night and I would be groggy the next day throughout the day. So I needed my husband to be there more than he usually is. So like that schedule management we did beforehand. Once we were not feeding for a week through the day, or more than a week, I think 8-9 days, we decided we'll start with a night weaning. Now, as I was saying before, my lactation consultant Prachi, I'll link her Instagram here, recommended that I do the night feed in this way, that first I only drop the night feeds and I continue to feed him at 11 and at 6 in the morning. I thought long and hard about it, about how I want to do it. Do I want to do cold turkey, where I just stop feeding him completely, or do I want to do this method? I kind of went against medical advice and I went cold turkey. The reason for that was very personal, basically. It was not like wrong advice or anything. The advice is great. It was actually the better way to do it, in my opinion, also. But for me, I knew it's going to be hard, right? He is going to cry through the night whenever I don't feed him at night. I didn't want to prolong that process. Like, if I would first drop the 11 and 6 feed and not feed him between that, he would probably wake up once at 2, once at 4. So he'll cry in both the times and it'll be difficult. And then once he stops crying in that, I'll have to make him cry again for the 11 and 6 feed. And I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to get it over with at once. Now, the talking to him, the preparing him didn't really help much at night, I'll be honest. We did talk about it. I did tell him that, tonight when you wake up, I will not be feeding you because you're a big boy. You can fall asleep by patting. We fall asleep by patting before we sleep, so we'll fall asleep by patting at night also. And when I was talking to him, he was fine. He didn't respond. He was like, okay, whatever, like continued to play. Obviously, night was a different story. I've actually logged this entire thing, like time wise, so I'll refer to that when I'm talking about it. So, the first night, his first wake up was the usual 11:10, 11:10, and I didn't feed him. He asked for it. Cried for a good 20 minutes, cried his heart out, screamed his heart out. I offered him water. He took it once or twice. Um, Cried for 20 minutes. Finally, 11:30, he slept by patting. And I thought, okay, cool, worked. But 5 minutes later, he woke up. Okay, again, that process started. Cried, 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 cried. By 12, again, he slept. Again, that was like a 20-minute of crying episode. By 12, he finally slept. Then again, 10 minutes later, he woke up. So, I say on and off chala. 12:30 is when he finally slept. So, 11:10 ka wake up, he finally actually slept at 12:30. In between, he was crying for like 20 minutes, sleeping for 5 minutes, crying, sleeping, crying, sleeping. Finally, 12:30, he slept. Now, after this, directly he woke up at 4:30. At this time, actually, the crying was shorter. He cried for, I think, 5-10 minutes. Then I was like patting him, I was cautiously singing, I hugged him, all that. He slept. 10 minutes, I think he cried. After this, finally, at 5:30, he woke up. 5:30, 5:40, again, he woke up crying. 4 or 5 minutes he would have cried, then he slept off again. Again, he had water. Each time he was waking up, I was making sure to offer him water because he's used to some liquid, right? At night, so I was offering him water from his zipper. Like I would make him sit, I would offer him water using a straw, and then I would make him lie down again. Then finally, I think actually on this day, now that I think about it, he didn't sleep by patting. Throughout the night, whenever he was waking up, I would hold him in my lap. I would try to like take him in my godi. I would try to rock him and stuff. And he was actually falling asleep in my godi. Even in the 11:30 to 12:30 wala window, what was happening was I was rocking him. He would sleep. Then when I would put him down, 5 minutes, 10 minutes बाद he would wake up. So मुझे infancy वाले days याद आ रहे थे when this used to happen, when I used to sleep as an infant and in my in my lap and I would put him down and wake up. It was similar to that. So through this night, I'd actually rocked him only to back to sleep. I didn't pat him. I missed that part. So finally, I think after 5:30 wala wake up, he woke up finally at 6 o'clock, again crying. And at this point, I had a feeling he's hungry. So I just got him out. I told him, okay, let's wake up. I gave him some milk. I had prepared like nut milk at night, and I'd also prepared overnight oats. This I prepared it at night only. I had set overnight oats in the fridge because I knew he would wake up very hungry, not feeding throughout the night. So I had breakfast ready. All I had to do was take it out of the fridge, keep it for like 10 minutes, put a banana in it, and give it to him. And that's what I did. Now, coming to day two, oh, yeah, one more thing. During the day, he was like normal. He was acting like nothing has happened. He was normal towards me, he was normal towards everyone in the house. Like he was playing, he was active. So, whatever happened at night did not really impact his behavior during the day. Just FYI. Night 2 slept at his usual 7:38. After that, he didn't wake up at 11. He directly woke up at 1, which was also very surprising to me. I was like, okay, great. Um, he woke up at 1 and he did not cry. He was up, like he was coming close to me and he was asking for ninni ninni. He was asking for feed, but he was not crying. He was just like coming close to me, asking me to hug him, asking me to pat him. I was patting him, hugging him. It took him a while. It took him a good 45 minutes to sleep, but he did sleep off without crying. That was really surprising for me that, he didn't cry that night. I was like, okay, great. So half an hour laga sone mein, but bina roye so gaya. That was itself like a win for me. I was very happy. Next, he woke up at around 4, 4:30 and crying like anything. He was screaming, crying like anything. I was like, okay, only the first wake up was easy. But he was crying a lot at this time. And I think Like the way he was crying kind of told me that he might be a little hungry. And thankfully, I had one last of those fruit pouches left. You know, you get those Ella Kitchens and Herbers fruit pouches in the market. So I had that saved up from a previous trip. I quickly went out, I got that, I gave him the pouch. I know it's not recommended to give them anything at night, but I could see that he's really hungry at the time. Like the way he was crying was different. So I gave him that pouch. He had that pouch. And after that, he stopped crying. He slept. Like he slept by patting and directly woke up at 6:37, I think. So I think the 4 o'clock, 4:30 wake up was more due to hunger on this day than anything else. And the crying was also due to hunger. So yeah, that was night two. We had a wake up at 1, then we had a wake up at 4:30. 4:30 we had something to eat and then we slept off again. Now day 3, something really shocking happened. He slept at his usual 7:38 and he slept almost through the night. I was not expecting this. He woke up at 5. He woke up, he was asking for a feed, but he didn't cry. He was just asking, tossing, turning, asking for feed. I would pat him, he would sleep again. But that day from 5 to 6:30, he was constantly like every 10 minutes waking up, tossing and turning. Maybe he was hungry, maybe he was just not able to fall asleep. I'm not sure. But 5 to 6:30, he was constantly like up and then sleeping, up and then sleeping, up and then sleeping. And finally, 6:30, I got him out of the room. I gave him his raisins, I gave him some milk, and he was fine. So day 3, he slept through the night. I was like, wow. But similar to how day weaning went, this wasn't over. Day 4, again, he woke up twice. I think one at around 1 o'clock, again at 4 o'clock, crying a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. We thought it's over. It wasn't. We weren't there yet. So he woke up again crying 2 times that night. Again, took 10 minutes but slept by patting. I didn't give him anything to eat after that day too because he didn't really cry in that way after that. And I didn't want to make it a habit. It was just a one off thing I did. Like his body obviously would take time getting adjusted to the fact that we're not having anything to eat or drink throughout the night, right? So I wanted to give him time for that as well. So he slept. We're at day 4, right? Yeah, day 4. And I think there was this one particular wake up which was around 3 a.m. on that day, which was very like he was crying on the top of his voice. Like I've never heard him cry this loud. He was not asking for feed, but he was just crying. And I was like, okay, matlab, theek hai, but I think 15 minutes, 20 minutes, then he slept off again. Basically, day 4, whenever he did wake up 2, 3 times, he didn't ask for feed. He just woke up crying and then he would sleep again. But he was not asking for feed. So I thought that is progress, that's good. Now on day 5, though, he again, same 2, 3 times he woke up, did not ask for feed. But then at 5:30, he woke up, I think, and then he asked for feed. So it's like random. But I think my point is that after day 5, he did not cry on waking up. It's been a good 10 days of no feed at night, at no feed throughout the day, 24 hours, no feed at night. And we are still waking up at night. We are not sleeping through the night. So if someone tells you that you wean off your child and they will start sleeping through the night, show them this video. It's not true. It didn't work with my child. It did not happen that way. He is still waking up 2 or 3 times in the night, especially at 4 a.m. If he doesn't wake up at all before that, 4 a.m., he's waking up every day. He needs to be patted back to sleep. He's not crying, he's not asking for feed, but he's still waking up and he needs help bridging that particular part of the night. So do not believe when someone tells you that if you wean off your child, they will sleep through the night. Mm-mm-mm. Not my child. So yeah, that has been my weaning off journey. It has been a very hard thing to do. I think this is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. I think we came out the other way stronger, so that's what matters. Genuinely, I never thought that I would be the one doing it. I always imagined it that whenever I want to wean off Kian, it will be my husband who will be taking over the sleep and all. So that transition is yet to happen. We will be doing that because he's still dependent on me for sleep. He would still not sleep with my husband, but we do plan on changing that. Again, that will involve some crying. The process will be similar though that I've explained for the day weaning. that he starts sleeping with my husband also, so that I also have that space to step out whenever I want to. I haven't had that so far in 2 years, 23 months of Kian's life. Still have to do that process, and we will be doing that soon. That my husband starts putting him to sleep as well, so he's comfortable with both of us, and we can do whatever works for us at that time. In general, like just the weaning off process, I always imagined that my husband would be doing it, and when the time actually came, I found myself not being okay with that. I found myself wanting to do it myself, and I'm so glad that I did, because I see how much he understands. Even today, like it's not that he's not asking for feed at all. Once a day, he will randomly come to me and ask for it. But I just laugh. We just laugh about it now. I don't even have to tell him that, you're a big boy. Like, oh, you miss it, but we don't do that anymore. And he'll also laugh about it, and I'll also laugh about it. So, yeah, that's about it. That was my weaning off journey. I hope this helps you in some way. But I would always recommend that whenever you plan to start doing this, prepare yourself, prepare your child, and talk to a professional. I can't recommend this enough. Just don't do it on your own, looking at something on the internet, looking at methods on the internet, because every child is different. And whatever I'm sharing, whatever anyone else is sharing on the internet, might not work for you, might not work for your family. So it's better to explore all options, talking to a professional, rather than directly jumping into it. I was just trying to like share my journey so that hopefully someone else can relate to it, connect to it, and help them in some way dealing with the process. Have any questions, just drop them in the comments. I'll try to answer them to the best of my knowledge. Yeah, that's about it for this video. I'll see you in my next one. And yes, do subscribe. Bye.